Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's such an exciting place. Not really. It's located in the northeast part of Indiana in the middle of a bunch of cornfields and hours from any real entertainment. There's actually 265,000 people here, and the population here is growing, believe it or not. Fort Wayne is Indiana's second biggest city behind Indianapolis, the state capital. This was once a Rust Belt town that's one of a few members of the Rust Belt family to kind of turn things around and continue to grow. As we'll see, it's not too bad a place to live, but certainly not very exciting. It's actually been called the cheapest place you can live in America for all cities over 100,000 people, so it's very affordable. For this video, we're going to see what it's like in Fort Wayne by looking at an example of the bad side of town, the downtown area, some things to do, and of course, the nice part of town, right? Because you might move here one day and you want to know where to go. And that's where we'll begin. Up here on the fringes of the city's north and west sides are where the best areas are to live here. And by best, I mean nice homes that are safe. Here's one example of a typical best neighborhood in Fort Wayne, if this puts things into perspective. Homes like this cost about $375K, which is really expensive for Fort Wayne. Nice neighborhood and nice homes though. Yeah, so give people an idea on what it's like in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne is first of all, they're known for their churches. It's called the City of Churches. But not just for religious and Bible banging and go to church reasons. A lot of community activity in the churches. So they would feed the homeless and they'd have like Al-Anon and AA meetings, cater to the mentally ill, food pantries. It was just very community-oriented church community for families and extended families, which is one thing I remember. When I lived there, I thought this would be a really good place to raise children if I ever grew up to raise children, which I didn't. But
did you know it's been called the most affordable city in America, over 100,000 people?
That does not surprise me. Because you can get a lot of bang for your buck real estate wise. You usually get a pretty decent lot size too. And they don't pay tax on edibles. So you can go to the grocery store and buy almost everything and not pay any tax on it.
Now, alternatively, we're going to see the bad side of town now. In Fort Wayne, the east and south sides of town are the worst when it comes to poverty and drugs and crime. Here's an example of a bad area in Fort Wayne where you can get a house for well under 100K, but bad for Fort Wayne would be excellent for a really crummy city in this country. There are many of those. It's not too bad on this side of town, and the bad pockets are kind of small. This home here was the cheapest house for sale the day I was in town. This place was on the market for $39,000. So get in on that, people. So to add perspective, I went to the bad side of town, which really isn't that bad.
No.
You know, I mean, if you go to like a bad part of town in a real big city, you see some stuff. This was not that bad at all.
Right. Yeah, they say that the east side and the southeast side are places you don't necessarily want to gravitate to, but the school system in Fort Wayne is really good. So just about anywhere you can find a decent school for your kids. So
yeah, and the places I saw on the east and south side, it wasn't that bad at all.
No. I don't think the town has had enough time to get run down, so to speak, as Southside Chicago has. You know, they didn't lose a steel mill or more than one. You know what I mean? So even the bad areas, people are still working.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's a little poorer and a little run down in a couple spots, but I mean, if you can get a house for 80K in a neighborhood like that, you know, I mean, that's a steal. A lot of people can just go in and pay cash for that and just loke up.
And then you can work on it as you go. Yeah.
Fort Wayne has a few notable buildings in town. One is the famous Embassy Theater, where big-time bands have played throughout the years. And there's several colleges in the area too. One is called Purdue University at Fort Wayne. It's not very exciting there. There's also a college called Indiana Tech, and they have an Ivy Tech. But if you future Fort Wayners want a homegrown education, this place would suffice. They call Fort Wayne the city of churches because there are supposedly more churches here per capita than any other place. I can definitely attest that I saw many churches all over town. But alternatively, Fort Wayne also supposedly has one of the highest concentration of strip clubs per capita too. So Fort Wayners like Jesus and boobies, I guess. I can attest I saw many strip clubs here, including this one called Showgirl 3, where they have cheap seltzers. I didn't go inside, but I know what's happening in there. As we'll see later, downtown is really boring. A lot of the restaurants and other fun things to do are located on the north end of town. The zoo is here. They have a Longhorn Steakhouse, okay. Cracker Barrel, Ruby Tuesday, hell yeah. A Fresh Time, okay. King Euros, damn. Fort Wayne has a House of Fish. Looks closed though. They have a Macy's and a Penny's and an H&M. Okay, Fort Wayne. There's a Boost Mobile here, just like any other place too. That's not very exciting. There's also a big convention center in town too. So fancy, Fort Wayne. So fancy. Now we're going to check out downtown Fort Wayne. Before you come to downtown proper, you'd find the southern end of downtown is pretty rough and looks like it's way past its prime. Here's what that looks like. For a small Midwest city, downtown proper is actually very clean and nice looking. There weren't any homeless people about. I didn't see a single druggie or panhandler, and there was certainly plenty of free or cheap parking. We're going to drive around downtown for a couple minutes so you know what that looks like. So, downtown Fort Wayne, it's not the most exciting place, but it's very clean, I have to say. I didn't see any homeless. I didn't see any panhandlers and druggies laying around. It's quiet, but it's clean. How do you feel about downtown Fort Wayne?
Downtown Fort Wayne is not what I would call your business district. You've got your banks, you've got your insurance companies, but it's not like all the law firms are down there and all of the jobs are down there. It's the business finance end, but Fort Wayne is a lot of industrial parks. So companies have their offices every which where. So that's different than most cities.
It's just middle America.
Yes, exactly. Very middle America.
How come Fort Wayne isn't really well known? I mean, it's a 250,000 person place. It's pretty nice. It's just kind of a quiet out of the middle of nowhere. Why don't more people know about Fort Wayne?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I've heard that. Outside of being relatively somewhat boring, would you recommend Fort Wayne as a place for people to move to and start a family?
Oh, definitely. If you're the family type, yes. Perfect for children. If you're more of a hipster, there's stuff to do. But if you want like the super downtown nightlife, you're probably going to want New York, LA, Chicago, or a bigger Midwestern town. But otherwise, I thought it was great. I don't think we would have moved to Chicago had my dad not been transferred here. We probably would have stayed in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, nobody wants New York, LA, and Chicago anymore. I'll tell you what, people are leaving the big city drama, and people can work from wherever now, and they're looking for those little gems out there that are affordable, that are safe, and I think Fort Wayne is a place people should think about moving to. I never thought I'd ever say that.
I never thought I'd hear anybody say that, but you know what? It's good to hear. Yeah. It is good to hear.
While in Fort Wayne, I thought it would be worthwhile to explore downtown. Well, I was wrong. Downtown's really not that exciting at night. I even perused a local rag to see what there was to do, and all I could find was summer theater camps and a paint your pet fundraiser that weekend. That's not a lot of fun, but it was worth looking for something to do anyway. This is the biggest building in the city, but as you can see, there's just not a lot going on here in terms of restaurants and fun things to do downtown. There's a few things, but downtown proper is kind of a ghost town after hours. But they have a minor league baseball team and a really cool stadium right in downtown proper. This is what that looks like on a day when they aren't playing. Nice looking field for the Tin Caps. Why do they call their team the Tin Caps? Well, I'm glad I asked, because Fort Wayne is home to the gravesite of Johnny Appleseed, right here in a nondescript and quite frankly run-down park on the edge of town is where Johnny Appleseed is buried among, well, apple trees. You know Johnny Appleseed, right? The guy who planted apple trees all over the Midwest. His real name was John Chapman.
The Lord is good to me. And so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and rain and an apple seed. Yes, he's been good to me.
His legacy still lives on to this day, but he wasn't exactly like this. I mean, this was a cartoon. His apples weren't perfect, nor did he have birds flying all around. No, the real reason Johnny Appleseed planted tons of apple trees in the Midwest wasn't for him to be eaten. No, his apple trees were supposed to be used to make hard apple cider. Booze, people. Well, I thought I should probably take an apple, that one looks good, from one of his gravesite trees and show it a good time that night, right? You know, in the spirit of why he originally wanted his apples to be used to begin with. The first place I stopped was a cool Asian place called Nawa. Great place. I highly recommend it. Well, they have these fancy dome cocktail smoking kits that they use to add smoky flavor to their bourbons. You put your drink inside and they light the wood chips and it adds a smoky texture to your cocktail. Well, I asked the bartender if she would make me a bourbon and add Johnny's apple to the kit to maybe add a smoky flavor to the apple. Well, she misunderstood me and she burned my apple with a torch. No! I meant burn the chips, not Johnny's damn apple. For the rest of the night, I carried a burned apple with me throughout town. Since me and this apple were going to hit the town, I figured it should have a COVID mask, right? So off we went, me and the apple, to see what there was to do in downtown Fort Wayne. Me and the apple, 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 me and the apple. After a long night out, it was time to clean the apple off and go to bed, because in the morning, I returned the apple back to Johnny Appleseed's grave. I bet no other apple in that orchard of his has had so much fun, and I'd bet no other apple from Johnny Appleseed's apple's ancestors has ever had such a fun night out. There you go, Johnny. Thanks for bringing us all those apples. May you rest in peace. Fort Wayne would do for families looking for safety and space, I guess. It's the cheapest place you can live in the country, and while you wouldn't be overwhelmed with things to do here, you could make a good life here. There's a decent number of good jobs here, and traffic isn't bad at all. It's just an average, under-the-radar, mostly safe place in the middle of nowhere that's growing and trying to prosper. There's certainly far worse places you could live in the Midwest, I'll tell you that. Maybe one day, you'll make Fort Wayne your home. Or, if you're in the area, just pop by and check it out. I'm sure old Johnny would love to meet you. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great! You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more. You can also now buy my songs on iTunes and other formats. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching. And remember, while we all might have different views, we should all be nice to each other and try to make the U.S. a better place in a positive way.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right, someone's a realtor now. Who wants to deal with a realtor they don't know when you can have me help you, right?